On February 24th, 2023, a group of 12 volunteers from Bristol Springs Free Church gathered at 4 a.m. at the Frederick Douglass Airport in Rochester to begin a week-long adventure in ministry in a strange and different land. Later that day, tired and jet-lagged, they landed in Monterrey, Mexico.
First thing I want to say is a mission trip is a personal trip. I didn't want to go, and Elise wanted to go for 3 years, and I dragged my feet, and I said, let's just send money. We can do more with money by just sending it. But after the first trip, I realized that it's sort of like when Grandma and Grandpa send you gifts in the mail versus bringing the gifts and knocking on your door. There's a tremendous difference when you show your face. You show people that you care. You show people that you want to be involved. You show people that we are here to learn and to take away as much as we can give.
Back to Back is a great organization. They have orphanages in India, Haiti, Nigeria, I believe it is, in Africa, as well as Monterrey in Mexico, where we went. They try to take care of the whole child, both spiritually, physically, education, and try to reduce the effects of the trauma that the kids have experienced in their life.
I think what impressed me about Back to Back was just the desire to minister to the whole person, the whole child, to just be exposed to the trauma that the kids have gone through, and to be able to understand them, to make sure they feel safe. The beauty of seeing it not like an institution, more like a home.
It didn't seem like an orphanage. It was a children's home. If you've got a picture of orphanage in your mind and sad little kids, that's not what met us. What met us was some of the most joyful, well-adjusted kids I've ever seen. They were polite, they were giggling, laughing, playing, but the thing I had to keep reminding myself of is that these kids all came from trauma, from neglect, from abuse, from abandonment. And yet, in this children's home setting, they were being turned around into happy, responsible, polite kids. It was awesome.
I was part of a missions trip to Haiti in 2010 to Port-au-Prince, where the earthquake was back then. It was a whole different missions trip than what I experienced this time. That was a more typical orphanage like you'd think of. But when I went, I thought, I need to get my family to experience this. I want them to see what other cultures are like. I want them to reach out to other people in need and see that there's more to life than this little bubble in Naples. So I had said then to John that when they're old enough, we're going to do a missions trip as a family.
A few years ago, we went on a cruise, but that was just what they wanted us to see, but we got more of like a full picture of what the culture was and how they lived.
I think some of our family members and friends were concerned for our safety, but because Dick and Elise had been so many times and Joanne had been, they all assured us that every step of the way we would be taken care of and with staff, and we weren't concerned at all.
So we have the American dream, and most of the time, our children do better than the parents in this country. You're always moving up. Well, down there, their whole mentality is defeated. When they can't succeed, they give up. They had one person that went through the program. He went through college and everything. They helped him right through. He went on 3 job interviews, didn't get the job. And he was so defeated that he just gave up. He didn't even pursue that line of work anymore. It's kind of sad in a way that they get so easily defeated and then they just give up. And that's how a lot of these kids end up in the home, because their parents are poor, they can't care for the kids. They might have started having the kids when they were 14 and they just can't do it, so they drop them off at these homes.
the campuses are set up where there are homes for each family unit, if you will. So boys and girls are separated, but they like to have no more than 6 kids per home to a set of house parents. And that's what you see on the campuses. So they have 5 or 6 homes at the Monterey campus where we stayed. And then when we went to Linares, it was 2 homes, one for about 6 girls and one for about 6 boys, and each had a set of house parents.
It's a well-balanced schedule that they have. You've got plenty of free time, you've got time to play with the kids, and then there's an hour in the morning and maybe an hour in the afternoon to work on these projects. But there's so many other things. You know, we have a training time with the staff who are teaching us about the children and what they've gone through and, you know, how they take care of them. And it's just a very well-balanced all-around organization.
To work.
The variety of things that Elise and I have done down there, we've done a lot of electrical work, and we've done plumbing, we've done painting, we've done all kinds of different things. Between doing the work and being with the staff, we're doing about an 8 to 10 hour day.
We all thought we were going to be doing work for 10 hours a day, and we did work, but it wasn't the kind of work we thought. You know, playing with the kids was part of the work that they had planned for us, giving the house parents a break while we played games with the kids.
So before we even go, we have a questionnaire to fill out about what our hobbies are, or, you know, something that our strengths are, what we like to do. So they can come up with projects that are geared to what everyone puts on their application. So they had a gardening project for those of us that like to do gardening. They had electrical work for the electricians on our team. They had some carpentry work for those that could do carpentry. And then they had the painting project. That thrilled my heart for Zoe.
At the children's home in Linares, where we were working, I did some painting in the therapy room. I've never did work in another country before, so it's really cool that the kids at that children's home are able to see my work and enjoy it, and maybe it'll help them because it was in the therapy room, so maybe it'll give them comfort and whatever assurance they need.
Dinner time!
When we invited the church to come with us, I said the main reason I was going was because I like Taco Bell. And I gotta tell you, after eating real Mexican food, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be going back to Taco Bell anytime soon.
The church services were awesome. We went, it was like walking into a very energetic worship service. They had a really upbeat worship team and just felt like here almost, except it was in Spanish. And then the service, we got to wear our little ear things, and we had a translator translating the service. It was a communion Sunday. It was just wonderful to be with other believers, even though we didn't really know how to communicate with them as far as Spanish, English. We knew God was there, we knew the Holy Spirit was there, and we got to worship with them, and it was really cool.
A very special moment for the trip for me was when they took us to church Sunday morning. We got there and we're in the lobby and they're assembling us and counting us because they have these translating devices that we can listen into an interpreter. So we can hear they've already started the music in the sanctuary, and then we finally go in and they're playing Waymaker and singing Waymaker. And that's just a really special song for me because Pastor Nate and Missy Iverson taught that to our Ahapwa kids last year. And there's motions and everything, and they practiced it many, many times. So I'm very familiar with it. And it was also one of the songs featured at the Life Conference last year, so it's just very special to me. And to walk into the sanctuary at that moment, and they were singing that song, it was like God was showing me just how big he was. And I'll just never forget it. It felt very personal, like he was showing me that no matter where you are, or what country you're in, what language you speak, God just connects us all, and He's with us wherever we are.
One of the greatest things to experience, though, was our group of 12 to come together to serve, to minister to each other, to laugh together, to work together, to pray together, to study together, to encourage each other. And it's really hard to explain that synergistic effect of what God did in all of our lives, not just through our lives.
Elise and I have the staff on our hearts. The staff is what touches us. And so we want to minister to the staff. We want to be supportive. We want to be an ear for them. One of the beauties for Elise and I is we pop in, we get to hear their stories, and a week later or 2 or sometimes 3, we're gone. And they know that they can trust us and they can share with us. And for Elise and I, the mission trip is just a tremendous blessing. I have family down there that I consider my brother and my sisters. They're my family. And I had the joy of having them come up here and see our family. So this has been a tremendous year for me to be able to take my church family down and have my Mexico family come up here.
Christina, one of the back-to-back workers down there, she had said to us at one point at the beginning of our trip, you know, this is the best size group. This is my favorite size group. And I wasn't sure she might say that to every group, you know, but she was serious. She had said, you know, there were 12 disciples. And so I just feel like 12 is just the perfect size group you could really pour in. I didn't know what to expect when we opened this up in the summer. But I'm very pleased. We had just the best group of people.
There, yay! There's one little sock.